2016 Zootopia, or Zootropolis in some areas, takes the animal kingdom and puts them in a kind of parody of human society. They aren't the first modern-day parable, but they use the smartphone, the very icon of the 21st century, in a way that many movies don't. Why are these movies so afraid of smartphones? Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off your phones. The video is about to begin. Unless you're watching this video on your phone, in which case carry on. The problem with smartphones in movies is that they are deus ex machinas, basically an unfair plot device that can solve pretty much any problem, which removes any sense of peril or suspense.
No, I don't have the map. We gave it back to you after map check yesterday. You've always had the map.
Can a movie coexist with a magical pocket-sized gadget that gives you worldwide connection and can answer any question? Home Alone would be a shit film if smartphones were involved.
Hashtag ill-judged.
See? Told you.
My mommy says she wishes you were dead.
Plenty of films include smartphones, obviously. I'm not saying that they don't exist in movies, but when they do, their capabilities seem hardly used other than phone calls or texting. ... I think an element of adventure is isolation, being forced to take the lessons you've learnt and put them to the test on your own, and without a WikiHow. And maybe smartphones kill any sense of adventure. So to do this, movies may set the film in a time or place where smartphones aren't around, like Turning Red, set before the dominance of smartphones and how May's Red Panda secret is kept thanks in part to the limited capabilities of early mobile phones and a lack of social networks. Whoa, why did you think Turning Red was set in 2002? Or they have the plot fixated on the phone, like a critical examination of its effects on people, or something that isn't that, like the Emoji Movie.
We're number 2.
But that feels so try-hard, and it's like any time somebody becomes a overnight viral sensation, it's just...
You're gonna be famous!
Stop!
20 million hits on the
Stop
internet.
doing
2
this!
million hits on YouTube.
Stop!
10 million hits
Stop!
already on
Just
YouTube!
Stop doing this, it's lazy!
He's going viral.
Doesn't work like that!
It's on viral.
Stop! I clearly find this very upsetting. Then there's the other option. Get rid of the phone. Like the battery dies, or they have no signal.
There's no signal.
There's always a signal.
Not out here in the middle of nowhere.
Or they lose it.
Probably shouldn't have thrown your phone, though.
Nope, immediately regretted it.
You could draw a lot of parallels between Zootopia and Onward, both being reinterpretations of a modern-day society with either an anthropomorphic or fantasy creature twist. Except Onward mainly uses the modern-day elements to illustrate the passing of time, to compare the good old days versus what we've become, targeting things like gentrification and a loss of old-fashioned values. It's surprisingly resentful of modern technology, like how it underutilizes technology in its story. Barley's Van Guinevere is ultimately just a vehicle to get them from A to B, and so the film's setting could have been instead a parallel for the 90s or the 80s or the 70s, or even just be a horse and cart. It turns the modern day element as this ambiguous generalization of civilized Americana, with nothing really pinning it down to any one particular era, other than Ian's smartphone. And what happens to it? At the very moment they're called to adventure, the inconvenient smartphone is written out. So what was the point of putting it in there in the first place? Well, it's of course a big trope to forcibly isolate characters by first removing the means of communication.
Radio's down.
Comms are down.
Alpha team comms are down.
The radio's out too.
Phone's dead.
Comms are down, sir.
The radio's down.
The phone's out, the road's out. We're on our own.
Basically, if your phone line has been cut, you are about to be killed by a man with a knife. Hello? Hello? Wait a minute, I don't have a house phone. Also, this is a can of beans.
There you are.
Are you gonna slash me?
The only thing I'm slashing are these prices because this video is sponsored by Surfshark.
Huh.
Surfshark VPN is a virtual private network that allows you to connect to over 3,200 servers in 95 countries, meaning you can access content not available in your country.
Look, if you just leave, I promise I won't call the cops, okay? I won't spill the beans.
Ah, shit.
Surfshark can also keep your connection safe from malware, hackers. The government won't even see your data, even on public Wi-Fi.
Wait, you're not even holding a knife. That's a spoon.
That's right. So you can scoop up this great offer by going to the link in the description using the promo code Eddache for 83% off plus 3 months extra for free. And in June, you can get Surfshark antivirus completely free. Now that's what I call a killer offer.
Thanks, Mr. Slasher. My smartphone is now protected with Surfshark. Thank you for convincing me without using violent coercion.
No problem. Now, if you excuse me, I have to go find a group of teenagers camping alone in the woods and tell them about the great benefits of Surfshark VPN. Bye!
Bye! What a nice guy. What? Phew! I landed in the beams.
So, do smartphones kill adventure? I suppose with improved cameras that are in our hands all the time, that's why we don't get so much mass hysteria over blurry UFO photos anymore. But for better or worse, smartphones are a huge part of everyday life, like a wallet, handbag, keys, etc. It's not as if they're totally absent, but why are they not integrated into the movies more? One issue may be branding. Famously, Apple do not allow villains in movies to use iPhones.
Bad guys cannot have iPhones on camera.
It's unclear how enforced this really is, but maybe it's not worth risking the legal hassle. When The Matrix used the Nokia fancy slidey phone, it was a pretty expensive model at the time, but thanks to the film's popularity, it showed the power of product placement as Nokia saw a massive 9.5 billion increase in sales. Whoa. Because everyone wanted that phone, as well as the sunglasses, the long black coat, and the ability to look cool.
Stevens, agent. Simon, a runner. Freeman, 713. I am a sentinel.
Dark days, dark days. So given the publicity a smartphone gets just by its mere inclusion, it has a lot of hoops to jump through with marketing, lawyers, contracts. Maybe it's just not even worth trying. And when they are included, it's usually for phone calls or vague spy stuff. Things that don't need to be a smartphone, just a regular phone or a made-up gadget will do. Perhaps this is designed to be some intentional escapism. We don't want to see Doctor Strange spending 4 hours checking his Twitter indirects, because that would be boring. Obviously, characters having a conversation is more gripping than text message bubbles, although we are seeing this done more creatively lately. We come to the cinema for adventure, and the blockbusters have figured out that the best way to cater their films to a large enough audience is to just minimize smartphones. After all, not everyone is a fan.
Where we've got today is the audiences who are brought up on these fucking cell phones, the millennium, do not want to ever be taught anything, except unless it's you're told it on the cell phone.
Right.
I don't care.
But I wonder if because of the exponential growth of smartphones and their capabilities, writers are still figuring out how to best integrate them, which makes me appreciate Zootopia's usage of smartphones. Let's look at them. All of them. Phone calls. While this is used by the villains hiding their identity, phone calls are generally kept as background elements with passers-by. But it's interesting that in the flashbacks, we also see older styles of phones, helping to compare and illustrate the passing of time. Video calls, only used between the openly honest Judy and her parents, and even when she does try to hide her feelings, it's hard to hide something that's designed to be high-vis. Texting. While the characters are occasionally seen typing, there's only one clear instance of a text being sent, illustrating how instantaneous the spread of news can be. Now, for a movie that's about solving a mystery, they never turn the smartphone into some spy tracker, so here are some other uses we see. Video recording, used to film vital evidence in a revelatory moment, which ends up endangering them. Photos, used by reporters and this polar bear showing their past encounters, helping to make clear the threat in a light tone. Scrolling. Like phone calls, the idle scrolling around is only seen by the background characters. Face swap app.
Wow, you are one hot dancer, Benjamin Clawhauser.
A running joke is the Gazelle face swap app, a frivolous distraction that comes packed with TTS. That's pretty impressive.
Chief Bogo! Not now.
Torch. Even while other characters use torches, the more forward-thinking Judy uses her phone. Information. The characters never search the internet for any information, but Judy does hold up a photo taken from a news website. There's a few gaps here. Early in the film, Judy uses an iPod, which was naturally very popular at the time of the film's release, although they've since been discontinued because they've been entirely replaced by smartphones. There's also her carrot-shaped voice recording pen. This too could have been done on a smartphone, but then it was probably better to have the blackmail as a physical object that could be ceremoniously handed over to Nick.
There's also no mention of social networks, so maybe this is a utopia.
But those aside, Zootopia still demonstrates a unique approach to smartphones. Not as an unfairly powerful get-out-of-jail-free card, nor as a stand-in for the walkie-talkie, but as a part of everyday life. And is treated so normally, it may even go by unnoticed. Unless you're an obsessive who makes video essays. Don't at me. No, actually do. Zootopia is far from the only movie to treat smartphones as normal everyday things, but in this case, this goes a long way to improving the film as a whole. For all the advancements we've made in progressivism and basic rights, it's naive to believe the problems aren't still there. And for a film that challenges themes of prejudice, which while not perfectly executed, it would be far less impactful if it wasn't designed to be a reflection of modern-day society, which is best illustrated by the omnipresence of the smartphone.
I was worried this movie would awaken the furry in me, but fortunately I think oh, mother yiffer.
It's called a hustle, sweetheart.
Don't forget to check out Surfshark VPN, link in the description, and special shout out to this month's patrons, including Ashley Kinder, Lyra Faye, Ashley Bird McCarthy, Sloan Schoolcraft, Rusty Robot, Beanie Vex, Mel Alkasemi, Drifter Wolf, Setsune Way, Volts of Extoff, Nathan Chowinati, Brett Halford, Ninja Squid 2000, Joe Wood, Matthew Smith, Alex Weston, Jake Pinkerton, Clam Wamtley, Joel the Gay Noodle Jennings, Liam Deeney, and Mark Gunner. And if you would like to support me, then please consider doing so on Patreon. Uwu.